it and promote it and make it bigger and pad it out. But they can hear the truth 15 times and deny that it's true.
I object to this
That's
public
hearsay.
member.
This hearsay.
This is my opinion. Now, we have heard opinions from everybody else, and I will not be denied the right to my opinion, just because I'm sitting on this side of the table. So I do have an opinion. And if you can believe the truth, you will find out the facts. Now, what I have written here, these are facts, because I went to Blackwater in North Carolina. And I can quite confidently state that the noise factor is not an issue in regards to the Blackwater. And I believe with all my heart it will not be an issue at Blackwater West. I will not answer questions right now. I'm going to finish my report. Our experience with noise out there was pretty close to no experience. There were several groups using the ranges, and I might add there's a lot more ranges out there than there will be here. And some were not too distant from the administration building. And we were in the administration building part of the time. Yet with the large door open, the sound was not great. One could hear the pop, pop, pop in the distance. It was not enough to disrupt your conversation or listening or hearing other people. It was not continual, steady, or persistent. Even when you were close by the sites where the guns were actually being fired, and the sound was not all the time. In other words, they're not out there from morning till night shooting guns. They have a practice round and then they do something. So, for what it's worth. The contrast, and this is important to remember, and this is a fact, the contrast between the terrain in the Moyock area and here in Potrero is noteworthy. I believe sound travels in concentric circles away from the central source. If you think of the target bullseye. Sound diminishes as the distance from the center increases. So the further away you are, the less you're going to hear. Right there next to it, you hear it. Far away, you won't. This area, it becomes no longer to be able to be heard by the human ear. It fades away. This area of North Carolina is very flat. There are no trees. Well, there's a few trees, yeah. Contrast this to the flatness to our mountainous area with mostly hills and valleys. And we have more trees in our area than they do. The sound waves will be stopped and fade away or be absorbed into the ground in the hills that are around there. Not only that, there are berms, and these berms will be here. These berms aren't high, but here they're supposed to be 10 feet, specifically built to insulate the sound and to protect from stray bullets. Excessive sound is not a factor. And I challenge anyone who would like to go out there and listen to the sound for themselves, just to go and listen to the sound. Because you're talking hypothetically and you don't know. And it is important to know that the nearest neighbors are probably about a mile away from the administration building. A couple of neighbors from the very closest homes came to answer our questions, and they were not even mildly disturbed by the sounds of gunfire. And one of them had dogs, and even the dogs were not nervous or disturbed. The fact is, they were not disturbed by any of the Blackwater activities. Contrary to the words that have gone out about how hated this group is, we found people that were very happy with them and that were glad they were there. And at this point, I would like to say they gave us a notebook, and we have letters in here from the people that came to an informative meeting, invited everyone. If you wanted to go, you could go. You were invited. No one was kept out. All the neighbors were invited. And they got many, many letters from people who were very happy with them and happy that they were there.
Were the letters saying the opposite also?
There's,
I'll have more on that later.
yeah, we have more on that, but I just wanted to point out in the noise department, there are no letters sent in. And if anybody had been upset with it, they would have felt encouraged to send in letters of complaint. So they were happy with these people. The noise factor here has been an excuse, and I only wish some people would pay more attention to what really exists and less attention to the wildly exaggerated claims and scare tactics that have been designed to alarm others. I don't know what the agenda is, but there's a different agenda. It's not noise. People can find out for themselves. That's true. But you'd have to do a lot of investigating, and I think it is good to find out the facts from the source. They did, we went to the source to find it out, to make sure that we had the right information. We went there, we saw, we heard, we asked questions galore. We did not want a bad thing for Potrero. We didn't. I only wish that some people could get the facts straight and not make this such a mess, so that we can't have a good thing for Potrero. And a lot of that is my opinion, I have to admit.
Now, I would like to stress that if any of you would like to go to Noyak, that you can. They will be happy to receive you, and that you see what we saw. Okay, now I want you to save yours until.
But I have a comment on the noise.
Okay.
This afternoon I spoke, Tina Brown, resident of Potrero. This afternoon I spoke with a fellow who lives in Moyak. His name is Gary Nokel. He likes Blackwater as a neighbor. He couldn't say anything bad about them, but he does live 2.5 miles away, and he said, yes, you can hear the gunfire 2.5 miles away.
How much?
Enough that it bothers him,
I mean, is it
but
what's
he's willing to
going
put
on?
up.
What?
No,
I don't know.
okay, now, okay, let me ask you a question. Did he say gunfire or artillery fire or hand grenades or anything like that? Did he say what kind of fire that he could hear that far away?
50 millimeters.
We're not gonna have 50.
We're not gonna have this.
Okay. What was his last name? Tina?
Nogle. N-O-G-L-E.
N-O-B-L-E?
G-L-E.
N-O-G-L-E. Yes, what was being done in Moyak is a lot different than what's going to be done here. You know, they have 50 calibers there. They're not going to have 50 calibers there. Okay.
You know, a couple of times he said that the property owner canceled the noise test because he was afraid of the locals running around with firearms. As you know, my son-in-law volunteered to be one of the shooters. He is an ex-Vietnam commando. He's licensed to carry a concealed weapon. He lived in this area his entire life. He also said he could bring a number of retired SEALs, and at the end he had to go to one of the shooting ranges to requalify for something. And he talked to the owner, and the owner said, oh, I'm sure that I can bring some qualified people too. Now, was this presented to the property owner, or did he think it was a bunch of crazy locals running around with guns?
Well, thanks to a few of our locals who pestered this poor man to death and harassed him. He just got fed up and said, enough is enough, and I'm not going to allow it. His son-in-law actually is an attorney and is the, I guess you would say, the manager of the property. And as I understand it, while he signed the letter, it was his son-in-law who requested that the test be canceled.
But
It was because of what I would call this radical frenzy mindset that drove them to say, enough, we're not going to take a chance.
But nevertheless, from the beginning, it was stated that it would be qualified people that would be shooting.
Yes.
Not crazy locals,
That's correct.
qualified people. And that's the way it was being set up.
There's no one that's more disappointed in the cancellation of that test than I am. Okay, we had, ma'am, you were next.
I heard her say that she didn't feel anything within a mile would be impacted, and I'm concerned about the southwestern flycatcher, the least Belvario, and other endangered species and species of concern that could be nesting in the area. And we've already mentioned there's golden eagles in the area. What's going to happen when all those blasts go off? They're going to have to relocate the mothers with
Ma'am,
the
all that's going to be dealt
fledgling
with in the
birds are going to
environmental
leave.
impact report.
They're going to abandon their nests.
Can I say something?
No, I want to move on.
The noise will have impacts.
Right next to them, the shooting ranges, there's a little forest. In that forest, they have wild turkeys and black bear and other animals.
In Moya.
It's easy for them.
There's boar, a wild boar, all kinds of things.
So much of wildlife there.
Okay, I'm going to take two more. They'll be called by this gentleman.
Okay, I've been hearing a lot about shooting, but there's a lot of noise in the Code 3 driving track as well. Just as much, if not more, as far as the
No
speed of
comparison. No comparison, Billy.
Should we do that?
They had Code 3 driving going on while we were there.
Never heard of it.
You couldn't hear it, even though we could hear the pops from the firing ranges. You couldn't hear any of the Code 3 driving.
How
And they
far
were tearing around.
was the distance farther on the complex?
No, actually, it was closer.
It's flat, it's totally flat area, you can hear anything.
Okay, this gentleman, state your name.
My name is Ed Weinberg. I'm a friend of Roxanne and some other people in the community. With all due respect, is there anything in the, or maybe I should just say there should be, in the noise test? Because the noise not only goes to the edge of the property. I don't know if you ever lived in a bowl. I have in Vermont, in South America, in many places. And my experience is that the people up towards the bowl have a very good earshot of what's happening below. Sometimes much closer, much better earshot than people who are much closer physically. That's one thing. Other thing, there are other issues.
Now, let's answer one thing at a
Well,
time.
it's my turn to speak, ma'am. We need to be respectful to the member of the
Okay, the bowl.
Other issue is about tremendous increase in traffic on the roads around here.
Traffic's our next item, so let's hold that here.
Okay.
Okay, Mary?
You know, if you knew the facts about the setup of the whole system, out of the 824 acres, they are planning to put some of the ranges. It's probably less than 10% of the entire property that will be used. And everybody forgets that. They think this whole thing is going to be one big shooting range. That's the way people are making it sound. It is absolutely not true. A small percentage of the property will be used for the shooting ranges. A little bit more for the driving ranges. They don't have enough room to do a lot of things. The rest of it, people, is open space. What's wrong with open space? You've got 80 acres of used property, some of which are administration buildings, which don't make much noise, and living quarters that don't make much noise, and some of it is shooting ranges. I don't have an exact percentage. But we're looking at an 80 to 90% open space, and everybody's against the open space. I don't know what's wrong. Why are people against open space?
That wasn't my point, ma'am.
But if you're living in a bowl, you're not living all over 800 acres.
No, but
No,
the
we don't
ones
need
on the
sound.
rear of the bowl, the ones on the rear of the bowl.
Then what I wanted to say before is, what about the live noise test have you not heard?
I'm asking about live noise testing.
We haven't had it.
But what I said to the chairman
Well,
is
then,
that.
we're going to have it.
What I said to the chairman is that the live noise test needs to take into consideration not only at the boundary of the property, but also the noise that comes up the bowl.
Of course.
So that is, my suggestion that.
The property line is at the top of the bowl anyway.
Yeah.
It's already
Okay,
been done.
Del?
It's already
Yes,
been taken into consideration.
in that live shoot that we trying to have, which we wanted. I mean, a lot of people, we've been going on this since October. And we've been to the county, and the county's been out here. And a lot of people have not been here to listen to the county talk to us with Blackwater and all this stuff until it really got, going. And it was all in the agenda. Now, our hearing for the shooting was the full rim of the canyon. We was gonna have stations all around there. That was in our deal, just like you said. We wanted that. I mean, everybody sounds like that. We don't want it. We want it. This is our deal. I mean, you keep beating it to death. If it goes by the county and we're within the county, there's not too much we can do about it other than just, talk about it. But that's what we wanted. We wanted the safety part of the noise for the community. And as long as allow the ERA and everything else, the ERA, EIR. Well, anyway, you know what I mean. But anyway, till we get the reports, all we can do is discuss. We're just throwing back and forth right now. We're just throwing words around, and we're wasting a lot of our time, to me, till we have the facts in front of us. I mean, all the deal, let us have the facts in front of us, exactly what all the studies does and everything else. Then we can sit there and pick it apart or accept it or whatever we can do. Once the study is done. I mean, for what we knew at the time, we voted yes for it. Because all the information we had and everything else, we voted for it. But it wasn't a final proof, we voted for it with the exception of the sound hearing, the gunshots. We wanted the gunshots. That's one of our stipulations. So, I mean, everybody keeps beating it to death. Let's wait until we have the final deal, so we know what we can do.
We're starting to run late. Ma'am, you've been very patient with your hand, and I'm going to take you as the last one, and then we're going to move on to the next subject.
My question has to do with what is actually going to be tested in the modifier test.
Could you restate that? Because of noise, I couldn't hear.
What actually is going to be tested in the modifier test? Is it going to cover all the things? Is it going to cover the helicopter? Will a helicopter be included in the test?
Ma'am, there are not going to be any helicopters.
There's a helicopter pad. It's there for quote-unquote emergencies. This war is being funded on quote-unquote emergency spending, and it's gone on for 5 years. You can't use that word emergency and say it's not going to happen in reality. Also, these other different kinds of ammunition, you brought it up, is it going to be just this one type of gun, or every type of gun they may possibly use? Every kind of, grenades, whatever it is they're going to be teaching them.
Ma'am, I live up on a hill over here, and I think the Border Patrol use our house as a guideline. They can fly overhead, and I can practically reach something and touch them.
Me too.
We're not going to get it.
Let's get back to the calibers. There's basically 2 calibers of ammunition. There's the .226 carbine, which in military designation is I think a 5.53 or something like that. 5.56, thank you. And then there's the 9mm semi-automatic handgun. Some law enforcement agencies have the standard issues 40 caliber. And those will probably be used on occasion as well. Bear in mind that the overwhelming majority of the use of those ranges will be by law enforcement, not by military. There will be some military units, shore patrol, MPs, that type of thing, but the overwhelming majority of it is going to be law enforcement.
Wait, are you saying that they're going to be training the military, our own, the United States Armed Forces, our...
No, ma'am. These are
The whole
requalification.
thing about about Blackwater is they're not this and they're not that, and they have no accountability. You're giving us your personal assurance that there's going to be no helicopter, but I don't think you can really speak about what Blackwater.
Ma'am, we're going by the permit application.
They told the people they were going to be this, and then it's going to be this.
We have a document from the County of San Diego that states what they're going to be doing there.
I have a house that's got a major use permit that says there's a 20-foot buffer or a 25-foot buffer around the oak trees. My house is built within the oak trees buffer. There's no 25-foot buffer at all. It's in the major use permit, and you can't get it enforced. It's done. It's there. When it's actually happening,
Well,
no one cares once it's done, and the county doesn't come in and help.
And I have another question. How can a company that is under congressional indictment right now be allowed to do anything till that is settled?
okay, that's we're getting into emotions rather than facts, folks. And, I'm going to cut it off there. I inadvertently skipped over 5C. May I have your attention, please? Item 5C, and Phil, you'll be glad to know that the decision of the director on the Renee and Jacqueline Rivera property was they denied the request for the variance.
I heard that.
Okay, that's 5C. We're moving on to 6B, Jerry Johnson traffic.
You know, I had a chance to speak, but we'll try. Anyway, we went to Moya. We asked the driver that took us to Blackwater site what she thought of Blackwater, and she said it was the best job she ever had. She pointed out areas of the road leading to Blackwater property that had been repaired at Blackwater's expense, even though it was a public road. The road is even narrower than our roads in Potrero. She pointed to the swamp area nearby and said that the name Blackwater derived from the fact that the water in the swamp was actually black because of the leaching of the peat bog. Now that's where the name Blackwater comes from. There were several signs that cautioned about speeding. They enforced their very strict rules. And I have pictures of them right here. The warning, this was a warning one, if you are caught speeding on this property twice, your driving privileges will be revoked. They said that they actually stopped contractors who had violated those speed limits. They also paid for solar-powered radar signs that flashed the speed of a vehicle as it was traveling. These were in the neighborhoods outside of Blackwater. The residents were very appreciative for them, and they said that they did help in stopping the residents from speeding. And I have a video of them as we approached it. We could use a couple of those in Potrero by the school. This is a very poor picture because it came out of the thing, but there's a flashing thing as you're driving. It tells you exactly the speed you're traveling, and it actually gets people to slow down. And these are all the other signs that they have up there. They've got signs all over the place about speeding. All of the residents that we talked to said that the traffic was not a problem. I videotaped an interview of the resident that lives the closest to the site, and he said the traffic was not a problem. We were driven over several roads in the area and around Blackwater site, and I don't think we saw even 10 cars on the road that we were going on. The traffic should not be a problem in Potrero. I'm glad that we have the opportunity to visit the Blackwater site. I wish everybody else could have that opportunity. We went at our own expense, in case somebody would ask. And I was allowed to film anything and everything with both video and digital cameras. And we found that they were very dedicated and open as to their purpose in providing training and security for our country.
There was one place you weren't allowed to film.
Oh, that was one where there was a private group there, and they didn't want their things shown. But otherwise, I wasn't stopped from filming anything there, which is very good. It's very good.
Okay, this hand in the back here.
Mr. Putnam from San Diego. It's hard to compare flat land with roads, no matter how narrow, to these roads here. These roads are dangerous just driving normally.
Those roads there are about at least 4 feet narrower than our roads here.
Yeah, flat.
And they have curves. They have some curves there.
It's not the same.
I just want to remind everyone that Jerry's giving his report. Okay, let's let him give his report. Okay, Don?
I just want to read the facts. I'm done. President Potrero. It says that the proposed project has a current estimated 90 average daily trips based on maximum occupancy of 360 people on site per day. The majority of the trips will be generated on Sunday and Friday afternoons when the attendees arrive and depart for the 5-day training course. Initial trip distribution is estimated at 80% to and from the west along SR 94 and 20% to and from the east. Traffic study shall be completed to assess potential direct and indirect traffic impacts and safety issues. That's like a 20% increase on Highway 94 for like a 90 average daily trip.
Okay,
80%.
Don, that's fine, but this is
Those are the
Jerry's
facts
report.
from
Well, we talked to a lot of people. We were allowed to talk to, we were allowed to talk to a lot of neighbors. We talked to businessmen in the area. We talked to, they let us talk to anybody. And some of them, they didn't even know the people that we talked to before we talked to them. And nobody was concerned about traffic. That's my subject here. Nobody was concerned about the traffic.
Okay, Mr. Lutz?
Carl, go ahead.
Yes. Well, you know, all this minutia stuff that we hear is, we never, we're not experts. We can't judge until the EIR is over with. But in the standing rules of Potrero, they say the board has to respect the input and comments of our community. In my opinion, I don't think they have. And since 1911, the people have the power to express their dissatisfaction with their local officials. And I'm going to inform 6 of the board members that now we're going to serve you with intention to recall.
Okay, enough.
I'm going to say one thing.
Enough, okay?
I appreciate it. I started the Potrero Association back in 1973. I tried to serve this community with protect property owners and get things for this community. And if you want to vote me out, do it. Because I've done my best for the last 30-some odd or 40 years, and if you want me out, be my guest.
Okay, thank you.
Johnson, I have a question about the traffic report. You said that they were stopping people on the road. Who was stopping? Did they police?
They policed the road.
They policed their own traffic.
They did it.
Okay.
Yes. And they actually stopped contractors that were violating the
Not on the
rules.
road, though.
They lost their driving privileges.
Yeah.
On their property.
Okay.
Chairperson?
Just a moment. Okay, Carl, you were out of order. There is an opportunity when you could have done that and been in order. But this is the type of things we're trying to govern here in a sane way, and all this political frenzy, you know, it's counterproductive to getting the job done here tonight. I don't mind being served, and you know, I've been on this board for a number of years. In the past 5 years, I've lost my house burned down. My wife passed away, and I'm getting remarried probably tomorrow. And if you can recall me, go ahead and recall me, okay? And I don't know who you're going to get to replace us up here. But based on this petition here, where 1/3 of the community signed it, you still have 2/3 of the community, and you know, give it your best shot.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, ma'am,
Can we go back to your trip to Moya?
we're still on it.
Okay, so I'm a Potrero resident, Marion Bowles, and I'm also a fire victim. And this community has been very gracious to me. And if I didn't say it to you before in the past for helping me during our loss at the 2000 fire, I'd like to say thank you because you people were great. Okay, but now, since this is a fire, my first question, I've got a couple questions, and I'd like to go through them and then you can answer it. I'd like to know how far Moyoc is actually from the Blackwater facility. Okay, and then I do think that it's really difficult to compare a flat level area like they said to a bowl. Those of us that live on the top ridges are probably going to hear a lot more noise. Also, the birds are going to be affected. And then a couple other things. The one thing I wanted to say that I am terrified of wildfires. And I hear just today that at a shooting range in Pendleton, they started a 750-acre wildfire that was started by a shooting range that got out of control. And I really don't think that one fire truck is enough to facilitate this, I don't know what to call it, if it's a paramilitary base, not a military base. I wish it was military, and I wish it was really law enforcement. But I am very afraid of Blackwater because they're a company that can come in and there is no legal regrets. You cannot take them to civil court, you cannot take them, and they are not accountable to the military court of justice. And because of that, I think our community should very much stop and consider who we are inviting into our community.
I would just like to point out that one error in what you said. They are getting a major use permit if they're successful. They will have to comply with that major use permit. And I can tell you that if they don't, this community has a beautiful opportunity for a class action lawsuit. And if you don't think that civil justice is adequate in that respect, just take a look at the gal that spilled coffee in her lap.
Ken Starr is their attorney, and he stated that they're above civil litigation, and also the military code of justice.
Yeah, that's in other realms. Okay.
Oh, and my other question was, how far are they from?
I'll get to that in a moment. I still have my interviews with neighbors that I will be covering.
Our traffic.
Traffic?
Yes.
Make it short, please.
Certainly.
We're running along.
Tina Brown. I talked with some folks about the meters that were put up to regulate speed, and Blackwater was compelled to put those up several months ago because their employees were regularly driving 70 to 80 miles an hour on this little Tina.
Excuse me, it was not a Blackwater person, that's a resident. There's a difference.
Why not hold this up for you?
Okay. I have pictures on both sides of these, and what I want to point out is that this is the road leading into the campus of Blackwater. I want you to notice houses on both sides of this road. These houses in this picture are right up against the property line of Blackwater. An invitation was sent out to all the people in the area to come to the luncheon that they were hosting for our benefit. The Moyoc is about, what would you say, 2.5 miles from the main gate of...
The main gate, 2 to 3 miles.
2 to 3 miles from the main gate of Blackwater. From the main gate of Blackwater into the operations compound is probably another mile. In our, you can actually have these pictures when we're done if you like them. Everybody that showed up to the luncheon, and these are the neighbors, the group shot, they were all very supportive of Blackwater. we took them at face value. Jerry shot a lot of videotape of their discussions. And we said, we know that there are some people who are against Blackwater that aren't here. And I asked for a list of names of people that they knew that were against Blackwater. I was given a list of names. That afternoon, we were basically going around and doing interviews and things of that type. We interviewed merchants in Moyock. We interviewed the bank manager. We went to the other side of Blackwater and to Camden County seat. This is the undersheriff that was at the meeting, and he introduced us to the city manager of Camden, and they all had glowing reports. We went off on our own. I made some phone calls to the people that I was given who were anti-Blackwater types, and I was only able to get a hold of one of them on the phone. She indicated that she wasn't going to say anything positive about Blackwater. She didn't like what Blackwater stood for. She doesn't like anything about Blackwater. So I said, okay, that's well and good, but how are they as a neighbor? You live adjacent to them. And she says, well, they're not as bad as I thought they were going to be. I said, can I quote you on that? She said, absolutely not. I am anti-war, I'm anti-Blackwater, and you cannot use my name in any way, shape, or form in anything to do with Blackwater. So I had to respect that. But in the meeting, we were talking about all the issues that the locals had with Blackwater. It's not that they hadn't had any issues with Blackwater. It's just that when the issues came up, they were resolved very, very rapidly. One of them was not too long ago, the aviation department put a rotary beacon on top of the hangar. And all of a sudden these people wake up in the middle of the night and here's a strobe light, going off. And the neighbors complained about it, and it was shut off the next day.
No, it said it was shut off when by the time we got home.
Okay, well, that was previously, yes. But the point I want to make is that whenever the neighbors have complained about anything, the feedback we heard from the neighbors that were there was that they were very responsive to the neighbors. And this undersheriff here, he was the most effervescent of all. He was talking about all the good stuff that they do for the youth and all the organizations in the area. The Boy Scouts, they actually bring the Boy Scouts in to police the brass, and then they buy the brass back from them. I've got a list of things that they supported last year. It's an awesome list. The hangar in question, if you see in a close view, you can see that these stoplights right here. When there's aircraft taking place, operations taking place over here, you have to stop at those signals. And there was a strobe light on top of the air operations hangar. That was the strobe in question. But that evening, after we went around and we interviewed all the people, they invited us to come to dinner and critique with them what we had found from all the neighbors and the merchants in Moyock and that type of thing. So we took them up on their offer to have dinner. We told them what we had found, and that they were very appreciative of the feedback. I think one of the nicest things where we went to a coffee shop where this young lady was a proprietor. Her husband is employed SEAL. She has a nice set, I believe they were twins, young boys. They look like bookends sitting there on one of the couches. But anyway, she was in the process of expanding her operations to include a restaurant type of thing. It had been a coffee shop and a donut place, I guess. And she's starting to serve meals now and moving into larger quarters. And she said because of the Blackwater business, we talked to the bank manager, and he talked about the ripple effect in the area, how it had been a boon to the economy of Moya. Camden County said the same thing in talking to the city manager in Camden County. He says, hey, these folks have been great. And we did not find, even though we looked for it and went around randomly and talked to people, we did not find the negativism that some of the people imply that there was there. In fact, there was this one Army surplus place that had sales going with all kinds of Blackwater knockoffs. I mean, it's big in town there. Okay, ma'am, you had your hand up.
Yes, Margaret Chen. I'm a resident of Potrero, and I did identify myself because you want me to. Also, you stated something that you said you wouldn't do. You identified the person that was against Blackwater, so that's a no-no on you. But my question is, these neighbors that you interviewed, were they employees of Blackwater?
No.
None of them.
What they did is they sent out invitations to all the people surrounding Blackwater. Well, they sent them out to all of them. All the people along the road, all the people around the border of Blackwater, they all received invitations to come to the luncheon and talk with us.
And these are the ones that came.
And these are the ones that showed up.
But I hear they do that randomly all the time, or else I was hearing on the internet about...
No, I meant random, they came.
No, but I mean, I've read about this on the internet, and they were talking about it was a dog and pony show, but everybody came for the free meal. Was that when you were there?
Oh, no, nothing like that.
Okay, so it was somebody different.
Don't distort it. These people went out of their way to come to the meeting, and they were concerned enough to come to the meeting, and let's give them credit where credit is due. Okay,
this man right here is in the Port Commission in Virginia, and he took the time to come. Now, he didn't have to.
And he's one of the nearest neighbors. He was right by the entrance. Okay, Tina, you've been promised the opportunity to speak.
Yes, thank you. I have my notes written down here. Since early December, I've been speaking with Blackwater's neighbors in Moya. I'm sorry Mr. Hammers wasn't able to meet with these folks. Here are some of what they told me. And my latest phone call was in late April. Most recently, Blackwater built something like a hotel facility on their tract, and they've been housing a bunch of Jordanians. I was told that they trained many foreign clients. Of course, it didn't start that way. It started with small shooting ranges. I was told the Blackwater's neighbors are not allowed onto the property for anything except these lunches where you're invited in. One old lady, who's over 80 years old, accidentally drove up to Blackwater's gate. They ordered her out of her car while they searched it. In another incident, a local Mennonite gentleman got lost and arrived at Blackwater's gate. The armed guards drew their guns and screamed obscenities at him. Other occurrences didn't happen at the outset. As I was told, this is a quote, once their foot's in the door, there's no stopping them. And they started small, they had the property rezoned since then, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger until now one resident told me it's like living next door to the whole city. About the strobe light, it was a recent addition near the airstrip. Neighbors complained, they turned it off for a week and then they turned it back on again. It's on.
Man, it is not on. It is off.
It was on Facebook morning.
That was in April, right? You said it was in April?
At a dinner that Blackwater held for some of the townspeople, they were told that the Potrero facility was, quote, a done deal. That within a year, they'd be shifting many trainers and programs to Potrero, which would, quote, take the pressure off here in Moya, unquote. Who among their current military, paramilitary, and foreign trainees are they thinking of sending here? Because they're not training our local law enforcers.
Okay, now you're starting to
there
get
now.
innuendo, so move on.
Again, another quote, they spoke as if it was already there. I'll allow you, my friends, to draw your own conclusions. I'll close with a quote from a new friend in Moya. She said, when you describe Potrero, it sounds like it goes against your community character at Blackwater.
Okay, I would like to have this thing, and I can verify them.
Verified.
Yes.
Okay, you was talking about the traffic doing 80 miles an hour on the roads. I know you people concerned about the traffic and the speed, but why, now this personally, this is I'm upset about it. Dan knows about it, most people do. Why don't you stop the people from speeding on Potrero Valley Road in front of school, 60, 80 miles an hour? I mean, the sheriff, they know a lot of tickets been issued, and Danny Nunez, he's going to try to get me the status of how many tickets been issued. And when they was doing the tape test, before they put the flashing lights up in the school zone, and that was a nightmare, Ed and Gordon and I went down to the traffic advisory committee, and they was against it. Finally, the highway patrolman went on our side, about 40 miles an hour. We wanted 35 miles an hour in the school zone. They clocked a car 92 miles an hour in front of the school. Now, if you people, you know, this is my personal deal. This has nothing to do with Blackwater. You know, part of it, you said Blackwater people speed. But why don't all you people, I've gone out there and I stopped cars. I've had cars trying to pass me, and I pull over so they can't pass me because they're going in front of the school. If you're worried about all these people, let's worry about ourselves. Let's stop these people from doing this. What is one child's life worth? And they have been 2 accidents in front of the school. One was a minor one, and one that they had to take off the ambulance. I believe that was 2001 or something like that. You know, it was a while back. But it has happened, and the school is bigger, and people dropping kids off to school. I mean, as a community, if you're concerned about the community, let's take care of that. Thank you.
I'd like to see this, what they have here, that flashing, thing actually monitored. I wish we had one of these.
Yeah, I would like to see it in front of the Potrero School, and I would like to see it on Mount Potrero Road.
It's solar powered.
Yes.
The person, excuse me, the person he keeps talking to at the, what is it? The Traffic Advisory Committee is Maria Lopez. And you all need to start writing more letters and getting involved. I would like to know from the local sheriffs how we can safely stop these people from doing it, because pulling it, I don't think it's a good idea.
No, it's not.
So, I mean, would taking license numbers help? I mean, what should we do to stop these people from going so fast? Without a camera, without a videotape, what can we do, gentlemen?
Okay, we're starting to stray.
Yeah, yes, we are, but I just want to talk about
Kate, did you want this?
I'll talk to you after the meeting.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that brings us down to opportunity for the public to address the board on any subject within its purview and not on the agenda. If we've already touched upon it on the agenda, we can't talk about it here. Okay, Brenda.
I want something clarified. When he handed out the petition things there, I know he excluded Jan. Who else got excluded? He said there were 6. There's 7 over here. There's 8 of you up there. Who else was excluded? Well, lucky you. Okay, I was just wondering.
I got a complaint too, though.
You didn't want to be excluded, right?
I didn't want to be excluded. They keep saying, well, this is not on the public right here. A group of citizens in this community are very interested in my background, to the point where they made my boss very interested in what I'm doing. Okay? My boss is the United States government, by the way. Okay? I'm a Marine. I was a Marine, I retired, thank God. And some of you were very interested in my background, my citizenship, my residence. So, shit, this is my old passport. Here's my new one. Okay? I'm not done yet, man.
Okay.
I like you a lot. I'm very polite. I'm very polite and I like you a lot. And therefore, so since you people are so interested, it's all about us and them. Okay? I'm one of them. I'm not one of us. Okay? When I was stationed in the South, the good old boys were very blunt to tell you, you ain't one of us, ain't you, boy? And they tell you in the face. Out here in the West, they do it behind closed doors.
Yep.
Okay? You want to come after me? Come after me. Okay? But remember, people that live in glass houses should not throw stones. Okay? Because they crumble too. That's all I got to say about that. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I want to ask you, did you say in an email that if the people in Potrero kept Blackwater out, that you hoped that there would be a nuclear waste site put in there instead?
Did you say
Yes
that?
or no?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
Yes, no, okay, if you read it, put your glasses on, okay? It's the
I
choices
see you
that,
just fine.
yeah, the choices that we got, okay? Even we get Blackwater, or we get a developer that starts with 40 ranchettes, and we end up like Campo Hill, 240 homes, okay? Or, even better, in a conversation, people were saying, why don't we just put a jail? That's a good place for a jail. Okay, that's a good place for a jail. Maybe even better, a nuclear waste field.
Also, somebody else said
Yes.
that's a good idea.
Okay, if you say it's in quotation, okay, if you read the email, it's in quotation. This is what I was told this weekend. Okay, but I didn't say, I was quoting. Am I correct, Gordon?
Yes, and Jan can attest to the fact that she quotes a lot.
Yes.
And
I was
she's got
quoting what I
some
was
people
told,
she gets
okay?
back for it.
So,
I also
now,
want to say something when he's done.
now, you know, Blackwater, okay, some rifle ranges. Or maybe some of these people, the outsiders, okay, what's the interest? What's the interest of the guy in this community? Okay,
Blackwater.
excuse me, ma'am, excuse me. 20 years ago, up in Campo, we had a bunch of people pounding on their chest, oh, the developer, the developer, the developer. As soon as it went from ranches to 240 homes, they quit pounding in chests and all went back to the communities, and the people in Campo are stuck on their own little problem.
Yep.
240 homes and building, okay? Is that what you want? Go for it. Yep, as soon as it's over, everybody goes back to Descanso, Dulzura, La Jolla, Imperial Beach. Because, and we get stuck with the turkey. Okay, that's what I said. If you read the email, okay?
Hey, Christine?
I'm just confused because I thought we weren't supposed to talk about anything that we'd already discussed. And I also want to say that I never personally looked into your background, but sometimes when you come to the meetings, you say things. I sit here quietly and listen, and you say things that insult me.
This is the first time I see you.
No, I was here last meeting when you called us all a bunch of clowns, and now...
Oh, no, I said stop the three-ring circus.
Yeah. Nobody else said the clown.
I said, we need to stop this three-ring circus, and the gentleman that was behind you, so you're calling me a clown, and he stood up. Okay, I never called nobody a clown. I said, we need to stop this three-ring circus, okay? Because this turned into a circus. Since October, we've been discussing this, and it's only been the people you see at this table, minus Janet, of course. There was another gentleman before. And now we're turning this into a circus.
Is he just nominated, or is he part of the board? And are you speaking as a member of the community or as part of the board? I'm confused.
Advisory.
What his stand is right now. Would you explain that to me?
Yes,
Is
I
he
will
part
in
of
a
the
moment.
board or no?
Yes, I will in a moment. Okay, Kathy?
I don't know if I can bring this up or not, but I'm still on the noise thing. Blackwater said that they have a speed track on the, they want to put a speed track on the site. And I was wondering if you know how fast the speed is. It doesn't say anything about the speed.
It's not a speed track.
She's referring to the code.
Yeah, it's a 2-mile emergency driving, code 3 type of defensive driving in hot pursuit.
Well, that's
So
what I'm
it's
talking
to
about,
train-
because if you have high speeds, you will hear the noise. Because I know for a fact, because I was a test driver for Ford for
course you
7
hear
years.
noise.
And when you're on the high-speed track and you're traveling at high speeds, anything over 110, you have noise, and you can hear it for like 6 or 7 miles away.
They're gonna have an 18-foot high earthen berm for a
So
noise
does
buffer.
Ford
right across there.
Proving Grounds,
Goes right across
and
there.
you can still hear it. You can hear it on the freeway because it's in Yucca.
Okay, we experienced that in Moyac, and our experiences were not that, and they were really turning around the track. Okay,
Well,
Marion?
I know that it is.
Okay.
I have a question
Marion has
for,
the floor.
I have a question for Emil. I would like
Excuse
to
me,
know,
folks.
I would like to know who suggested to you that a nuclear waste dump or a jail might be appropriate for the
We were having a
project?
conversation at breakfast with some friends downtown. You know, everybody keeps reading all the false accusations about helicopters in 105. And they were suggesting, they said, well, you got choices. A prison, a nuclear landfill. I said, okay, that sounds good to me.
It was a flippant remark by somebody
Yes.
mouthing off.
It was nobody, it was just.
It wasn't a resolution from our planner.
Yeah, it was a breakfast conversation.
Okay, Mike?
I just have one point to make here. I'm glad that Carl's taken the time to do some recalls, but I would appreciate it if he spells my name properly. Otherwise, he seems like he spelled it 3 different ways on this particular form. And here it shows that he's a number 3 here on this particular list. And this particular list is number 1. I'm just wondering, did he decide just to write this and have people sign it and then decide to put people's name when actually people were knew exactly what they were signing? But that's besides the point. I would appreciate it if you take the time to look at my name and spell it properly. Thank you.
Well, let me comment on that.
No,
The
that's
seat
enough.
numbers are.
Okay,
the same
Raymond?
numbers.
Okay, thank you, Raymond Lutz, Citizens Oversight. If I may, 2 things. First, on the noise, there's talk in the last meeting about the computerized model, and that's been part of the rationale for how the noise isn't going to be too bad. However, the computerized model has not been presented that I've seen, and it's not in the file, even though it's referred to in the file. I put in a written request for the results of that model on the 7th, and I have received nothing. I put it in again today to ask again. They're supposed to give it in 10 days. I've got nothing. So until this computer model comes in here, I don't think the board should refer to it at all. There is no such thing as a computer model until you see it. The second thing I'm wondering, I know you got the free meal and you paid for your own tickets. I noticed that some of you are wearing Blackwater t-shirts. Maybe you're employed by Blackwater a little bit now. But was there any other gifts that you received other than t-shirts and the?
I got a chocolate strawberry.
And if it's over $250, then you'll have to excuse yourself.
We didn't receive $50.
Did you buy the t-shirt or did they?
It has to be more than 250.
Okay, well, that's kind of out of place if you ask me to wear that when you're reviewing.
Oh, so now are you the closed police? What is more out of place? Yours or mine?
I'm not on the panel, ma'am. You are. You have an official
But
position.
I have
and
the
you're
right to
reviewing-
wear what I want to
Excuse-
wear.
ma'am, I have the floor right now. In my opinion, and you can accept it, the other people can see that you are in violation of your attempt to be objective about their request by wearing the t-shirt from the applicant.
Okay, does anybody else have anything? Okay, lady in the back has been very patient.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, for the media members here, we always read in the papers that the planning group voted and it's a done thing, but they never mentioned that it was a contingent vote, that it depended on a noise test that was never run. It wasn't a vote unanimously in favor. It had contingencies on it, and those contingencies have not been met. And I hope that the media reports that correctly from now on. Also, to the gentleman who wanted his name correct, the letters that I get from the HOA lawyer about maintaining a lawn underneath the 300-year-old oak tree, that I'm not maintaining the lawn,